Good morning, everyone. I am Kristen Parent with the Middleton Chamber. Super excited to have you guys joining us for today's Business Boost session. And other than Kesha Kent, all the way from St. Louis, the power of technology that she can be joining us all the way there. Just want to do a couple announcements here. So if you guys can keep yourself on mute, I know we've done a ton of Zooms at this point, but always a good reminder. We will be monitoring chat and asking questions through there. Throughout the presentation. We'll have some time at the end for Q&A as well. And would love to see those videos on. It helps to know that you guys are out there and we're not just talking to some black screens. So want to give a shout out to today's sponsors. I'd like to thank TDS, the QTI Group, and Park Bank for helping us make these possible. And really excited to next intro Kesha to take over and show us the power of networking. So Kesha Kent is the CEO and founder of I should read that before. Is it Kesha Speaks?
It is.
This is Kesha Speaks. There we go. She's a wife, mother, a high energy speaker, best-selling author, podcast host, and diversity and inclusion leader. She's over 20 years of human resource, recruitment, agency staffing, and training and development experience. She holds a bachelor's degree in management and leadership and a master's degree in organizational leadership. She's the new author of the Amazon #1 new release, Networking, It's Your Superpower. So Kesha, I'd love to turn this over to you.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you guys. And good morning, good morning, good morning. If I haven't already greeted you, Julie, good morning. Scott, good morning. All of you guys. Jill Mack, did I say hi to you already? Good morning, Julie. Good morning. How are you guys today? If you notice, when I popped in, I'm greeting people, right? We have the ability to set the tone every single place that we step into. I'm just going to say that. We have the ability to set the tone every single place that we step into, be it our workplaces. Hey, James, good morning. Be it our workplaces, wherever we're at. Stephanie, good morning. We have the ability to set the tone. I don't care what it is. I don't care what's happening, what's going on. We have the ability to set the tone. So if you would with me really quickly, I want you just to kind of close everything. So it's easy for us to multitask and click on this, respond to an email and speak. There's no way that we can truly do 3, 4, 5 things at a time. And I know there's a word called multitasking. Who in the world can multitask? Really? Because think about it. When you have 2 things happening, one's getting some attention, right? One's getting a little bit of attention, but there's no excellence that happens when we can't give our full attention. So I'll just say this, think excellence. Don't beat me up, don't be mad. Just think excellence and really tune in, because I'll give you some tips and tools when it comes to networking that have helped me in my 20-something years of experience. So I started off way back when as a telemarketer in high school. I was a senior and I had a leader that showed me how to connect with people. And he said, I don't know about you, young lady, but you're good at this. You're good at talking to people. You're good at listening. Listening is the biggest piece when it comes to networking. Of course, we want to tell all about us, all of our accolades, all the stuff we have going on, our business. We want to do it. But simply with networking, the big thing I want you to think about is listening. Okay. So now that I have your attention, James, is it okay that I go for it? James, are you clicking? I see your eyes moving. I want you to really, truly tune in, okay? So I say this all the time, that networking truly is a superpower. And when I wrote the book, I thought about how we can change the world simply by acknowledging people. And the way that I think of acknowledging people is giving grace. Giving grace. When we think about this, somebody somewhere is going through something sometimes, at all the time, sometimes. We never know what it is. Typically, it has nothing to do with us, right? And when we start off in that frame of mind, when people are agitated or they're fussing or they're complaining or they're murmuring or they're this and they're that, typically it has not a thing to do with us. But I say start with grace and space, because as you provide grace and space, what will happen is the possibilities are endless. And if you've ever heard of the word gratitude, which comes from grace, right? Think about how when you start in gratitude, it shifts the culture. It shifts everything around you. When you're grateful and you show up and you say, I'm grateful, and you believe it and you walk in it and you live it, you know what happens? And this is true. Google this. Statistics show that when you start in grace and gratitude, deals are closed. People are reaching out. They're looking for you. That good energy that you possess, they're like, let me find Catherine. I need to connect with her. Lisa was amazing. I need to connect with her. And you know what will happen is there will be a referral. There will be a follow-up. And when you think about the ability that you have to connect with people, I want you to always start in grace. Start off networking, your work day, your day period, with grace and gratitude. But not only give other people grace, I want you to give yourself grace too. Because here's the thing, people hear the word networking and they sometimes cringe. But I want you to take away the stigma of networking, take away the stigma off of the word, because at the end of the day, it's about relationships. It's about engagement. Raise your hand if you can hear me really well. Good. Raise your hand if I'm choppy. Oh, good. Look at that fiber. That's the fiber. If you guys didn't hear that earlier, I switched to fiber. I'm excited. Okay, good. Again, grace and space. Give people grace and space. And when you're in these events and people, maybe they'll rattle off or you'll meet them and they'll just blurt out all this stuff, give them grace. Don't shut them down. Don't write them off. Give them grace, because who taught us how to network and meet people? Our weight. We didn't learn that at the table when we were saying grace. We didn't learn how, no one's taught us how to network, but you know what we did learn? We learned that compassion is above everything. And here's the other thing I'll say. With grace, I want you to think of the golden rule, and I want you to forget it. People are like, what? The golden rule says, do unto others as you want them to do to you. But Deborah, I might not like the same things that you like. Do unto me as I want you to do to me, right? Not as you want. So the way that you do that, you get to know people. Get to know them, Steve, and it's all about relationships. And we've been taught so long, do unto others as you'd have them to do unto you. But build a relationship, Dan, and find out specifically what they need. We can't just assume, right? We don't know. Unless you build a relationship, it is impossible for you to know what your customer needs, what your client needs, what your coworker needs, what your wife, what your husband, what your kids need. It's all about building relationships. And take away that thought of the golden rule and turn it a little bit and say, let me do unto them what reflects them, what works for them. And as a parent, I have 3 girls and I have a civil engineer who's studying right now. And her mind does not work like my mind. No, ma'am. No, sir. I'm with all of this energy. And she's like, Mom, just get to the point, Mom. Just give me the facts. Just give me the details. We can make a spreadsheet. All you need to do is this. And I'm like, Kaya, we need to go check it out. Let's go. She's like, Mom, it's not necessary. So I'm learning as a mother to really do unto her as what's best for her, not me, right? So I just want to leave you guys with that again, grace and space. And I'll ask you really quick, what's one thing that you're grateful for this morning? I'll kick off. You can type in the chat. If you want to say it out loud, raise your hand and we'll call on you. So I'll kick it off. I'm grateful this morning really for just health today. I don't have any ailments today. I'm grateful this morning for health. I'm grateful for an amazing husband who listens to me with all of my spontaneity and follows and says, okay, we can do that, or okay, let's think about it, or oh, I'm grateful for that. He's also an engineer, so his mind doesn't work like mine, but I'm okay with taking notes and writing it down and giving them notice. So again, when you think about gratitude, what's something that you're grateful for today? Nancy, did you want to share? What are you grateful for? You want to unmute?
I would love to share. I just wrote, I'm grateful for space and grace, and the connection I've already made with your comment. I'm doing some events out of my farmhouse, and I've consistently called it the place for space and grace. And so I just, when you said that, I'm like, yes, you're speaking my language. And I love the ability to connect and just communicate with all of you. So I'm just so grateful to be here. Thank you. Thank you for
You're
hosting this.
welcome. Thank you, Grace and Space. Jill, were you going to unmute or were you typing? Okay, you'll put it in the chat. Great. Anybody else care to share what they're grateful for? Jim, what are you grateful for?
Well, I put down, my kids live pretty close to me, so it's really fun to be able to get together. We had them over this weekend to watch the Packer game, so it's fun having them so close to us.
What a blessing. Such a blessing. Anybody else care to share out loud? Shelly, would you like to share out loud? What are you grateful for?
Sure. Sometimes I just like to go right down to the basics, and I like to just be grateful for things that we take advantage of every single day, which is the ability to get out of my car and walk, the ability to see things around me, the ability to hear, because there are so many people and so many, I mean, getting down to the basics just kind of leaves me humble and also grateful, and that really helps me.
Thank you. Now, I used to work for an organization. We started our days off like this every single day, and we did what we call a gratitude circle. And everyone would get in the circle and they would share. And we had 4 offices, and each office did it at the same time, 9 a.m. every morning as we started Monday through Friday. And what we noticed is we all had so many things in common. We were so different, but we had so many things in common. And what that did is we built some amazing relationships, amazing teams. We were a dynamic team. We were competing against other nonprofits here in the St. Louis area. And our nonprofit always came in at the top. We were always amazing. Dress for Success is that organization. If you're familiar with Dress for Success, they do some amazing things, and they start off with gratitude circles. And it's a beautiful thing. So again, I just wanted to give you guys grace and space. If there is anyone else that wanted to share, let me see if I can. Oh, the chat is popping. I didn't even look at the chat. Wonderful. I see grateful for our local nonprofit community. Fabulous. Thanks, Val. Yes, attending an amazing fundraiser. Yes. Melanie says, I'm grateful for being connected with people who appreciate the value of life given.
I'm grateful for restoring our home.
Yes.
It's so exciting. Except I couldn't find a wall that wasn't white this morning for the Zoom. What painting everything mostly white, except for a few red things. I couldn't. Here I am. But
well, we see you just fine on that wall. You're perfect. You are perfect. We can see you perfect. Great, you guys. Thank you so much for sharing in the chat too. So let's get this thing kicked off. I have a question for you, and I'll take 3 volunteers. Raise your hand. 3 volunteers. If you could host a talk show, there you go, Melanie. I see your face, girl. If you could host a talk show, who would be your first guest? And I'll go first. Melanie, you want to go first? Go.
I would say probably Michelle Obama.
Okay. Tell us why.
Yeah, I think she's just incredibly inspiring. She's, just her ability to connect with women and share experiences. I mean, just powerful and impactful comes to mind.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Melanie. Anyone else? Any other volunteers? Thanks, Stephanie. Welcome, Troy. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we sure can.
I think I would probably ask Oprah, and I would, because arguably she's the best talk show host in history, and I would.
Next to me, she's the best.
Yeah, yes, arguably. I would ask her what she would have done differently, or if she were to start a talk show now, what she would have changed.
Ooh, that's good. That's a good question. Wheels are turning on that one. I love that. Brooke, who would you interview, Brooke? Are your wheels turning over there?
My wheels are turning. We actually just had this question in my staff meeting last week, and I said Michelle Obama, actually. So the same as Melanie. I think she's just done a lot, and to be obviously the first lady has a lot of insight and a lot of tools at her fingertips. So I think it would be great to learn more from her.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Anybody else care to share?
I think I would invite Meghan Markle.
Ooh,
I would be very interested to find out what was it like living in the palace, and what is it like now? What's the difference?
right.
It'd be very interesting to
That's a good one.
hear from her.
Yes. All right. Anyone else want to share? Anybody else? Okay. So we'll keep going. We'll keep going. I have a couple of things that I want to make sure that I give to you guys today. And I'll just walk you through kind of our plan of action today. And when I think of all the pieces, there's so much. So I want you to make sure that you're taking notes, because you'll say at the end of this, oh, I didn't think of that. You'll think of it once I tell you, I promise. And I'll make it easy. You'll have access. If you look at how my name is on my screen, I'm on LinkedIn. Make sure that you connect with me on LinkedIn. I share all sorts of networking tips and tools and tricks all the time, okay? So here's our plan of action. So today, when I think about networking, the biggest thing in networking is how you introduce yourself. It is. And I call that 30-second commercial or elevator pitch, I call it a power statement. And I call it a power statement because it brings the heat and it brings the smoke when you do it right. And I'll give you some tips and I'll give you a quick example of how you do that. But it's a power statement because there's power that happens behind it. And we all know that first impression is every single thing that you just, as much as we want to change it, sometimes we can't change it. The first impression is everything, right? It is. So I want to give you some tools on how to just make it pop. And here's the other thing. When it comes to the tools, all of this, it starts with you. Doesn't start with anybody else around us. As much as we think that we want to tailor it to certain people, when you keep your power statement and you understand that it starts with you, you win. Okay, I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. I'm not going to get too far ahead. Then I'll talk about the goals around networking and what you want to do when it creates that space of networking, because I never go to a networking event without a goal already set. Okay, we'll talk about that too. Also, I'll share a little bit of LinkedIn tips and pieces on follow-up. How many of you all are on LinkedIn? Active on LinkedIn. Posted today on LinkedIn. We're not active then. It's 10:20. How long have you guys been up? I want you to make a really intentional calendar invite to yourself and say, post on LinkedIn, connect on LinkedIn, engage on LinkedIn. And I'll tell you why once I get to that. But I'm going to give you just a little snippet right now. This opportunity that I have to speak today came through LinkedIn. People connect through LinkedIn. I spoke at my alma mater, Judson University, the year before last, and it happened through LinkedIn because I'm connected to the campus president. They've gotten a little bit of money from me, so I can connect to him, right? I have a bachelor's and a master's from there. So we've been connected on LinkedIn since 2005. So I sent him a message after I've been building my business, building my brand, building my portfolio. I sent him a message specifically asking him, how can I come to this campus to create space for the students through networking? It's your superpower. How could I introduce my book? How could I talk to them about the power of networking? I sent him a message on LinkedIn. Yes, I did. And he didn't respond right away. But when he did respond, after I sent another message, he told me that he had been traveling and that it wasn't his intention not to respond. He responded and he said he would love to connect. I sent him my speaker sheet, all of my media things, all the stuff I've been doing. And he said he would love to set me up to speak with his secretary. Well, connected me to the secretary. She didn't respond right away. I didn't murmur, I didn't complain. I gave her 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, I sent another message to her. And I said, I'd love to follow up on the message that Dr. Kroom sent. I'm still very interested in coming to the campus. Really light and easy. No long paragraph. People don't read long paragraphs. They don't. I kept it one sentence and moved on. She then followed up and apologized for dropping the ball. She said that she was super busy. She connected us via Skype. We had a meeting on Skype. The rest is history. They brought me in to speak on campus. They flew me and my family in because it was homecoming weekend. They gave us the bells and whistles. I spoke to the team about networking. They bought books. Now I sit on their board of the Alumni Association, and I get to affect change when it comes to all of those pieces. And I'm saying all of this because it happened through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is powerful. It's free. And if we're using it, it is a great way to connect and build. And I'll say this too. People want to connect with you through your authentic voice. They don't want you to sell. They want connection. But here's the thing. People buy from people that they know, that they like, and they trust. I know you guys have heard that probably a million times, but it's all back to communication, engagement, and relationships, okay? Okay, and I'll talk to you about this acronym test. So I'm gonna keep going so that we can get through this. We have about 20 minutes and we're rocking and rolling, okay? So my question to you guys is this. How do you introduce yourself? Troy, can you hear me too? How do you introduce yourself? Yay, nay. How do you guys introduce yourself? Anybody want to volunteer to introduce themselves? Anybody? It's your time. This is your time. I'll give you some feedback on it too, and we'll talk about that power statement as well. Any brave souls? Steve, is that your hand I see in the air?
I'll go for it. So I would say hi first, and my name is Steve. I'm with a multidiscipline engineering firm that I'd love to tell you more about. What do you do?
Fabulous. Anybody else? Nancy, I saw your hand, and you, Mel. So Nancy, then you go. Just renamed you Melanie, Mel. Nancy.
All right. I get to, okay, just a second. I get to build confidence. I get to build your confidence and courage to conquer what gets in your way of living both a happy and successful life.
Good. Okay. Okay, Mel, let's hear yours. Thank you. 3.
For my work, I say, hi, my name is Melanie Relas. I'm with Summit Credit Union. I help people learn to love their finances and feel financially well.
Ooh, look at you. Your business, great. Any other ones that you use?
I'm in the process of doing something on the side. So
Okay.
that mantra is really talking about, it's an introduction of healthy hustle keeps you happy.
Ooh, I like that. All right, you guys. So I'm going to give you some tools and tips. And the first thing I want you to think about is this. When it comes to your power statement, and I said this before, the first thing that you want to talk about, well, save this because this is the money statement, I call it. Save this. I'll give you the template and then you'll be able to save it. And then I'll give you a quick run through. So of course you start with your name. We know that. But sometimes when you're excited, we forget to tell our names. People do it all the time. So I will reiterate, tell people your name, okay? If you have a phonetically long name or it's sometimes difficult to pronounce in some cultures, have maybe a quick, easy way. So I say, think of Quiche, so that people see my name and they don't call me Kesha. I say, think of Quiche. I'm much older than Kesha, but think of Quiche, I always say, okay? So that's one thing you can do. Always start with your name. Then I say current status. So either you are, whatever your title is, could be current status, right? So I'm the CEO and founder of Mrs. Quiche Speaks, right? That's your status right now. Then you talk about your skills and expertise. I have over 20 years of experience building human connection. I love the power of connectivity, and I understand that it's all about the value of relationships. I'm passionate about connecting people to other people. I know that we all have something innate in us that we've been born with to give away. So it's my passion to connect people and show them just how to do that by living it out loud. Who do you know that's looking for a dynamic speaker that could come in, teach about the power of networking with a background of talent acquisition and the ability to move the crowd every single time? Who do you know? So here's what I say when I say, who do you know? Here's what I mean. Let me go back. When I say, who do you know, what you're doing is you're getting the ball set up, right? You're getting the alley-oop ready. You're getting you're getting ready to throw the ball and they're going to catch it. Who's that? Is that the quarterback that throws it? You're getting ready to throw the ball, right? When you say, who do you know? Here's what I want to tell you also. When you ask a person at the end of that statement, who do you know? What you're implying is they know somebody. But sometimes we say, do you know someone? When you say, do you know someone? You know what you do? You give them the opportunity to say yes or no. Don't give them that opportunity. After you introduce yourself every single time, say, who do you know that needs a new credit, that needs a new account? Who do you know that's looking for a new auto loan? Who do you know that's looking for a home ownership loan? Who do you know that's looking for whatever it is that you do? Who do you know? Because what that does, Jennifer, what it'll do is this. It'll plant the seed in that person to start saying, wait, Kesha, I do know somebody. You know what? Let me connect you. But again, Dan, it's up to you, Dan, every single time to ask for what you want. And typically we will introduce ourselves and leave it open. I want you to introduce yourself, close the deal by saying, Troy, who do you know that's looking for an amazing speaker to come in and talk to their employee resource group? Ask for specifically what you're looking for. Steve, and who do you know that's looking for an amazing engineering firm to come in and do XYZ? Talk about your expertise. Talk about your skills. Pop in there your years of skills. When you tell a person that you have 15 years of experience, when you tell them you have 20 years of experience, when you tell them that you've done all of these things and you talk about passions, what happens every single time is people connect to passions. They may not connect to what you do. They just may not, because you may tell them that you're a coach and sometimes they'll say, oh my goodness, I've talked to so many coaches, everybody's a coach, whatever they say. When you tell them your title, sometimes it'll either gain their attention or it may not get it at all. But when you talk about your passions, why are you doing it, Melanie? What's important for you about that side hustle? What's passionate about that thing? And then when you tell people about your passions, people connect to passions, Brooke, every single time. And you'll feel it because of that energy from that passion, it'll take away that kind of nervousness that happens when we do that introduction. Talk about your passions. Tell us why you do what you do every single time. Who wants to practice this? Anybody? And screenshot this, save this template, because this template, it's also one of the ways that, so many organizations that I work with around building relationships on their teams, how they connect with people, how they connect with their clients. This is a statement that has been used worldwide, that top salespeople come back and say, I have never said at the end of my commercial, who do you know? But now I'm saying, who do you know? And listen, people are getting out their phones and they're saying, you know what? I do know somebody. Let me get my phone and give you their contact. Let me send an email and connect you. It happens every single time. So you see him? Show me the money. That's the money statement. So I'm going to go back so you can see the template. Anyone interested in sharing? Come on now. Let's see what you got. Use that template and make sure you ask for what you want at the end of that.
I'll give it a try. I just changed mine a little bit. So I said, I'm Melanie Relas, a financial wellness specialist with Summit Credit Union. I have 20 years of experience in the financial industry. I work with employers and their employees to reduce financial stress carried into the workplace. I help people learn to love their finances and feel financially well. Who do you know that could benefit from our services?
Ooh, yes. That is it. That's the money statement. Because now Steve's like, well, let me think about who I know. Think about it. It happens. Okay, Lisa. Lisa wants to go. Come on, Lisa. Let's hear yours. Or were you clapping?
I was just clapping.
That's okay. You can clap. Anybody else who would love to practice this? Because again, here's what I'll tell you. The more you do it, the better it gets. I just didn't wake up and say, I'm going to do this. And it was something that I did over and over and over, going to networking events. And I was like, what's missing? I kept putting everything in. I'm like, what's missing? Something's missing. Something's missing. It was the ask. It's the ask. Okay.
Well, and I think
I'll try it.
Oh, okay. What were we gonna say, Melanie?
Oh, I was just going to say, I've certainly done a lot of different coaching sessions where we talk about what's your why and you come up with a quick statement, but there is definitely that difference where you add in your skills and experience and that who do you know at the end. And I'm just feeling that a little bit because I've tried to recite that sentence for a long time, but now I see how it all ties in together to describe more of what you do and get in front of people that they may know.
That's it. And if you can keep it within 30 seconds, people have short attention spans. I'm just saying, we live in this microwave society where people want it. They want it. They want it. I wanted fiber, right? I wanted faster internet. It really is a real thing. So think about the power of that 30 seconds. Be succinct, say what you're going to say, and then let it breathe. You don't need to say and keep going and because we'll want to keep going. But when you ask, who do you know? Give them space to start thinking on your question, not jumping right back in with something else. Give them space to think on your question. All right, Nancy, it's on you.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Nancy Kelso with Kelso Coaching and Consulting. I'm the founder of Kelso Coaching and Consulting. I have over 30 years of expertise in helping teams and individuals develop their strengths. I'm passionate about getting people in the right job, the right role for them in the company. And who do you know that might be a good fit where I could help ignite their confidence and courage?
That's it. That's it. And I'm telling you, as you keep going and growing, watch how you start to, it'll breathe out of your ear. It'll just come out. And as you tweak it, depending, so if you have multiple businesses like I do, my husband does, we tweak it depending on our audience. We make sure that we keep it in this format, but I may not tell them that I have 20 years of human resource experience. I might, if I know it's academia, because they're so caught, they want to know about those degrees. I'm going to say I have a bachelor's in management and leadership and a master's degree in organizational development. Make sure that you tweak it as you need to, because every audience will be different. Okay, so think about that. Maybe they're thinking about mechanical engineering, Steve, or whatever the different pieces are. Make sure you're specific to the audience and tweak it as you need to tweak it. The format won't change. What you're saying may change depending on who you're talking to. You're talking to the CEO and you're getting ready to get that deal signed. He may want to know, yes, I'm working with Ameren UE electric company here in St. Louis as well. I've worked with them for 15 years, taking care of all their engineering needs. Throw something in there that's really going to catch their attention. So think about how you shift it per audience. All right, you guys. Show me the money. Show me the money.
Hello, it's Catherine.
Hi, Catherine. You're muted again.
I'm Catherine Short, and I'm the owner of Lee Michaels Sculpture Cakes. We are a cake and wine pairing company. And who do you know that would want their cake and wine paired for an event?
All right. Now here's what I want you to do when you think about that. When you talk about you're the owner of that, tell them about your skills and expertise. How many years have you done that? Why is it something that you're passionate about? Because when you tell them those things and you say, this is a recipe that's been in my family for 50 years, we're gonna say, I want to taste that.
We are very innovative. And we move according to know when the wind has changed. And we own the travel company, and the wind changed, W-I-N, changed with the pandemic. And so we use the same products of wine tours and cakes, birthday cakes to my clients, to develop our new company because it's being very innovative. We just took the wine and the cake and we put it together and we began pairing it and having events. So
wonderful. Make sure you stick to that template because that's the money statement. It will change the game every single time. But screenshot that, make sure that you hear that and you know that, because people look for those points. They want to know your skills. They want to know your expertise, and they're looking for passion. And again, people connect to passion. So if you have not screenshotted it, here's your moment, and I'm going to move forward. Okay. Show me the money. And I have a couple more things I want to show you guys. We won't do the breakout because we did that in person, okay? Here's what I want you to think about. How well do you know yourself? Type a 1 in the chat if you say, I know myself so well. Type a 1 in the chat. Type a 2 if you say, I know myself and I'm working to get even better. Type a 3 if you say, I'm working on it, I'm getting better. I'm in my 40s and I'm getting it today. I understand the power of me today. Wonderful. Thank you guys. Listen, I'm with you, Kristen. Thank you. Thank you. Good. Here's what I want you to think about. When I ask the question, how well do you know yourself? I want you to think about some tools that can help you get deeper with understanding who you are. And that tool is the Strengths Finder book. Are you guys familiar with the Strengths Finder? Woo, woo, woo. That's a game changer. Listen, it's on Amazon, probably about $10 or $12. So I work with Wells Fargo here locally, and I started working with them as a consultant in 2012, and they were working on this. And it was also a book that I worked on in my bachelor's program in 2005. So it tells me the power of the book. But what Wells Fargo does as a team is they've ordered the book for every new hire so that they have an idea of what those strengths are and what those tools are that that individual comes to the table with. What they do is once you get the book and you take the assessment and you get an idea of what your strengths are, they only operate in that space. So they don't look at what your weaknesses are. They look at what your strengths are. It's so important to understand what your strengths are, because then you can operate from a different space when you know your strengths. And the Strength Finder is the best way to become the best version of you. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about the Strengths Finder. I went too far, hold on. So in the Strengths Finder, I must have taken that slide out, but in the Strengths Finder, there are 4 quadrants. And in those quadrants that you get an idea of how you fit into those quadrants after you take that assessment. And once you take the assessment, I implore you to do the research for each one of those strengths and live in that lane. When I started living in that lane of my skills and strengths, it was a game changer, and it helped me say no to things that were not in my strengths. It's okay. People will sign us up to do everything, but if you say no to things that aren't in your strengths and your expertise, oh my gosh, it's freedom. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going, you guys. And we've been kind of working through this. Now, here's what I want you to think about when you get ready to network. Every single time that you're networking, I want you to make a goal around networking. And every single time you go and network, your goal should be a SMART goal. How many of you are familiar with SMART goals? And when I think about creating a goal around networking, the biggest thing is, what do you want out of it? What do you want to do? So think about it. When you come to these events or any networking event, say you want to connect with 3 people. How do you want to connect with them? Will it be on LinkedIn? Will it be an email? How will you connect with them? Are you going to get their card and send them a message, or how will you do that? Because when you look at how you do it and you create your goal, when you set it up that way, what happens is you're likely to get there because you've now made a goal. I don't go to any networking event without a goal. So my goal today was to connect with 3 people on LinkedIn and build this relationship. And my date that I set, because when you think about it, there has to be a time bound. If you say I'm going to connect with people and you don't say I want to do it in 10 days or 2 days, or if you don't do that, what happens is nothing happens. It's just sitting out there. You have all these business cards and you're doing absolutely nothing with them. So set your goal around connecting to people and sure to make it a SMART goal. And it sets the tone every single time, okay? Now I want to give you some quick LinkedIn tips. If you have a signature block in your email, put your LinkedIn link in there. So this is my old link. I switched my new link. My new link is just linkedin.com/Mrs. Key Speaks, because you can go in and change that. But again, I have this in my signature block on my email, and you know what happens? People click it. People are nosy, they want to know. So put your LinkedIn link inside of your signature block, because it's an easy way to connect with people. And if you want to get even more creative, you can put an emoji pointing to that and say, connect with me on LinkedIn. I've seen people do that, and it's really cool. You want to make sure that you're connecting with people, okay? Now, here's the acronym I want to share with you guys. Everything that we do is a test. Say test. Type test in the chat. Test. Everything that we do is a test. Everything. And it's an acronym. And I'm going to move kind of quickly through it so I can give you guys all of this. So the T in test is for time. The time that you put into networking, building relationships, mastering your power statement is the time you're going to get out. If you take it all in and you do nothing with it, nothing happens. Put the time in and build it up. The time you put in is the time you'll get out in cultivating those relationships. The E is for energy. Energy introduces us before we even open our mouths. If we're going out to network, if we're going to events, if we're coming to Zoom and we've had a crappy morning, I would say to you, pause, realign, and start to say out loud what you want and watch it shift. But get prepared with your energy. Prepare yourself before you get to any space. Energy is real. It is a real thing. If you notice, when people have bad mornings and they come to an event, you can feel it, or they've been hit their toe, or all those things that happen. It's a real thing, okay? Energy is real. The S is for secret sauce. It doesn't matter how many people do what you do. Your secret sauce is your secret sauce. No one can steal it. They can't mimic it. They can't do anything about it. What I say though is, with that secret sauce, master your strengths and your craft so you can be a better presenter when you're connecting, when you're building relationships. The secret sauce is yours. Make sure that you cultivate that secret sauce. The last T is for truth. There's someone who's waiting to hear your story. There's someone who's waiting to hear what you're doing. There's someone who's waiting to hear your truth. And all of those pieces that go into our truths are what make us. Your story, where you've come from, the things you've been through, your things you've overcome. Maybe it's a divorce, maybe it's death of a parent, whatever it is, people are waiting to connect to you, and people connect to people. Not what you do, they connect to people, okay? I'm rocking and rolling so we can get through here. Now, when I think about all of the pieces that I gave you, I want you to think about using that power statement. I want you to think about the time that you put in, and I want you to think about how you have the ability to connect with people in all facets, in person and virtual. When you're here, look at this. This is a cheat sheet. You get everybody's name right in your face. That's a cheat sheet. It's easy to connect. And one thing I've done sometimes, if I'm at events, I'll just take a screenshot and I have it. And what I do is I go and I connect. Hold on, let me clean my camera so I can get a good picture. Smile, you guys. Ready, get set. Uh-oh, I didn't get it. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Ready, get set, go. Got it. So that's what you can do. Capture people's names. Make sure that you connect. You guys can find me all over social media. You can find the podcast. I also have a networking group on Facebook. It's Networking It's Your Superpower. You can find the book directly on Amazon. You can just look up Networking It's Your Superpower. There's more tips and tools and tricks there. And you can continue to connect. And you guys, thank you. Make sure you connect.
Oh my gosh, Kesha, like you can come every week and just motivate us and remind us of these tips. We can practice our power statements. That was phenomenal. Thank you so much. Thank you for finding time for us and being here and joining us all the way up in Wisconsin. We really appreciate that. So you guys will hang out hopefully for a couple more minutes if you guys have more questions. Understand that if you need to move on with your day, you are welcome to do that. We just appreciate you guys all being here. And I just want to plug, don't forget, Sportoberfest is next week, Tuesday. So if you want to come and network and have fun with us that night, please do. Team registration is also open. So if you're just dying to toss that rubber chicken into a laundry basket, this is your opportunity. So with that, thank you guys. And please feel free to take yourself off of mute or ask a question in the chat. We'd be happy to help you with those.